Hey everybody, welcome to week 7, module 7 for ME 144 heat transfer course here. So within this module 7, we're talking about a couple different things. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is that you do have your exam number 1. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. It's been on your schedule. We have a lot of announcements, PDFs, emails, videos that I've put up in regards to this exam right there. So we're going to talk about when that is, the details of that exam as well. We're also going to be taking a look and beginning in Module 7.2, our Chapter 4, taking a look at two-dimensional steady-state conduction, going through some practical applications and some example problems. Some other bookkeeping items for this week. Besides your exam number 1, you also have your quiz number 7. So this has been posted to Blackboard, and this will be due on Friday the 19th by 4 p.m. Now, just a reminder, as always, I do have office hours scheduled for Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, if this time doesn't work for you, you can email me, send me a chat, send me a message, and let me know, and we'll find a time that works for both of us. Also, there are 2 other sections of office hours held by the TA, and these are Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 till 12. Now, here's his contact email right there. So use this time. He's the one who's going to be grading your homeworks and exams. Do you have any specifics as you're working on homework problems or something related to a grade that you got? Please use these times right here on Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 to 12 to go in for the TA's office hours. So now as we jump into Module 7, again, Exam 1, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then we're going to get into this two-dimensional steady-state conduction. So within this module, what we're going to do is we're going to consider two-dimensional steady-state conduction by briefly reviewing alternative approaches to determining temperatures and your heat rate. So this relates back to section 4.1 in your textbook there. So the approaches range from exact solutions, which we then can obtain from idealized conditions, to approximate methods of varying complexity and accuracy right there. So that's something we always got to think about as we're doing out these problems and picking out which methods we want to go through. Is it more important for us to get an exact solution to this, or are we okay with the accuracy not being quite what we want, but maybe the complexity being a little bit less complicated for us to solve it as well? So what is good enough for our solution will determine which methods we're going to utilize for a lot of these different problems. So we're going to continue on to section 4.2, where we consider some of the mathematical issues associated with obtaining an exact solution and those issues there. And then in 4.3, we're going to present complications of existing exact solutions for a variety of simple geometries. So just looking at these simple geometries. So objectives within this module, we're going to take a look at alternative approaches to determining temperatures and heat rates, talk about separations of variables as we discuss math, go into some conduction shape factors, how we can calculate those, look at some dimensionless units right there, and then talk about conduction heat rate. So related to your textbook, this covers Chapter 3, sections 4 through 3, and then continue on reading for Chapter 3, sections 4.4 through 4.5 as well. So now to discuss our exam right here. So the first exam here, this is going to be covering material from chapters 1 through 3 in the textbook and modules 1 through 5 in our lectures on Blackboard. So again, these exams are going to be released on Tuesday, March 16th at 9 a.m. You'll have 2 hours to complete the exam once you started. Then it'll be due on Tuesday, March 16th by 11 p.m. Now, Blackboard will let me know and let you know when your 2 hours is up right there. So please pay attention to that time. Again, it's designed to be an in-class exam completed in 90 minutes. So as you get towards the end of 90 minutes, I'd start working on scanning that in and getting it uploaded to Blackboard. So the last half an hour is to allow you that time, that extra 30 minutes, to scan it in and upload it to Blackboard correctly. So you're going to submit your homework through Blackboard. It will be slightly different than the homeworks you've done in the past in the fact that we're using a test platform rather than an assignment platform on Blackboard right there. That way I can clearly see when you started the exam, when it ends, and set that time submission as well. But the format will be the same format, the same grading scheme as you had for your exams as well. So now, students without any accommodations, if you have not given me an accommodation letter or you have not reached out about any scheduling conflicts, you are expected to complete the exam in this designated slot. And if you don't, you will be penalized for it. So if you do have accommodations, you have extra time allotted right there, you can complete it after 11, and Blackboard will let me know how much time you took on it. It'll tell me exactly when you started it and exactly when it ends. For students with accommodations, you still need to start the exam at 9 a.m., and then you'll have either 1.5 times or whatever your accommodation allows right there, and you'll submit it by that time right there, and Blackboard will let me know that time slot. So please pay attention to your time as you're doing this. Even if you do have accommodations, Blackboard will make a note of this. Now, if you are a student with a scheduling conflict and you have already reached out to me, if you haven't reached out to me, I'm assuming that you're completing in this time. If you have not reached out to me, you need to complete it between 9 and 11 a.m. if you don't have accommodations. If you have reached out to me, the way I've set this up is there is a longer period of time that this is available on Blackboard, and it'll go between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. of availability, but you will still need to complete it within that 2-hour block. And this is only for the cases of students who have scheduling conflicts and have told me about those scheduling conflicts right there. So the next thing I want to discuss with these exams is academic honesty. So this is something that is very, very important. We're taking this extremely seriously. You're only allowed to use your computer and the internet for 3 things on this exam. To access Blackboard, and within that right there, you can open the exam, look through the lecture materials on Blackboard, and submit the exam. And that's it. You can also use your computer for PDFs if you have a downloaded PDF of your textbook, or if you need to send me an email or message me. But you are not allowed to go and Google search answers. You are not allowed to search for the solution manuals. You're not allowed to use Chegg or any other sources. This is cheating and it will not be tolerated. So this is unacceptable and it goes against our academic honesty policies, which I would encourage you to click on this link here in the PDF that I've uploaded. Check that out at UVM's site for what our academic policy is. The grader and I will both be looking through the exams together, and we'll be determining if any of these exams are suspect to somebody having the solution manuals, going to Chegg, Google searching the answers, and if it is suspect, you will receive a 0 for the exam, and this will be reported as well. So please, we are taking this extremely seriously. I know this is difficult, and this is new for all of us, being the fact that we are remote or online with these courses, but you need to abide by the academic honesty policy, and again, these are the only reasons you're allowed to use your computer and the internet. You are not to search for answers. You are not to have the solution manuals. You are not to go to Chegg or any of these sources right there. And if it looks like you have the same answer as these guys do, your exam will be suspect and you will receive a 0 for it and it will be reported. So please, please, please take this very seriously. Treat this just as if you're an exam in a classroom. You sit down, you just have your resources in front of you that you're allotted, and then you submit your exam at the end of class. The only difference is now is you're uploading it as a PDF through Blackboard. So please do not cheat. So now we can get into the new content here. So as we get into Module 7.2, we're going to start Chapter 4 in our textbook here for two-dimensional conduction, talking about shape factors, dimensionless conduction heat rates. So within this module here, we're going to take a look at the heat equation and some methods of solution, talk about the conduction shape factor, and then go through some of the dimensionless conduction heat rate equations and theories as well. And I'm also going to ask you to review sections 4.4 and 4.5 in your textbook right there. We talk about the finite difference and finite element methods right there. If we talk about some of these more exact solutions, sometimes we need to move to some of these methods right there to solve these rather than the by hand analytical solutions. So within this, we'll go over some of the key theories, some governing equations, talk about some practical applications, and then go through a couple different my hand solutions to a couple different of these problems.